What do Paula Abdul, Diana, Princess of Wales, Kate Beckinsale, Sally Field, Callista Flockhart, Lady Gaga, and Anna Freud, daughter of Sigmund Freud, have in common? All of these ladies are famous or related to somebody famous, but would you believe that each of them has suffered or still suffers from an eating disorder, according to edreferrals.com? I too suffer from an eating disorder called anorexia nervosa. I developed this disorder when I was 8 years old, and I have no idea why I developed it. To me, being thin is an obsession, and I can tell how much I weigh just by how far my hip bones stick out. Anorexia is like an addiction to me. Anorexia nervosa is a psychological disorder that is underreported and is becoming an epidemic. It also has a social stigma surrounding it and is a very serious disease. If you could, wouldn't you try to save somebody's life by donating money or volunteering your time to help this cause? Anorexia nervosa is currently hidden very well by those who suffer from it, and it is increasingly becoming an epidemic. 8 to 10 million people in the United States are reported to have anorexia and other eating disorders, according to FamilyDoctor.org in a 2010 article. This is more than the average number of pregnancies per year, according to the American Pregnancy Association. Dr. Roxanne Dryden-Edwards, in a February 3, 2011 article on MedicineNet.com, says 1 out of every 100 adolescent girls has the disorder. This number only includes what is reported and does not include children and adults. According to the United States National Institute of Mental Health, other statistics about the disorder include the fact that an estimated 0.5 to 3.7% of women will suffer from this disorder at some point in their lives, and another 0.3% of men are thought to develop anorexia in their lives, according to Dr. Dryden-Edwards. Do you honestly believe that only 1 out of every 100 adolescent girls has anorexia, or that 0.5 to 3.7% of women and 0.3% of men develop anorexia? These statistics only include what is in the United States, what is reported, and those who are currently seeking treatment. Every day, more and more people are becoming an anorexic statistic. They don't tell anybody about it, and they are suffering alone. Because more and more people are becoming a statistic and the disease is underreported, a certain stigma is beginning to form. Anorexia has a certain stigma about it. There is constant pressure to be thin and to make it look as though it came naturally. It also predominantly affects certain cultures. Anorexia nervosa overwhelmingly affects women, with 95% of the sufferers being women, according to Dr. Dryden-Edwards. People who suffer from an eating disorder are more likely to have been the victim of childhood abuse, according to Dr. Dryden-Edwards, and it is seen in children as young as 8 years of age, according to FamilyDoctor.org. It is seen mostly in Caucasians more than any other racial background, according to Dr. Dryden-Edwards, and it is also seen more often in middle and upper class societies. The desire to stay thin is endorsed by celebrity models, athletes, and the other people who currently teenagers look up to. According to the Eating Disorder Referral and Information Center's website, there is a rumor that current actresses are being harassed by the media, which points to Audrey Hepburn as an example of a woman who was thin and did not suffer from an eating disorder, which is not the case. Audrey Hepburn suffered from anorexia and depression during her career. Sally Field said, "Everybody was twiggy except me." There's also an expectation of wealthier and higher societies for everybody to look perfect. Perfect hair, perfect personality, perfect thin body. This definitely puts stress on growing girls, which puts them at risk for anorexia. According to Dr. Roxanne Dryden-Edwards, there is a movement called Thinspiration, which promotes thinness as a lifestyle choice rather than a symptom of anorexia. This type of movement is backed by websites geared toward anorexia. These websites include ways to become an anorexic. They also show pictures of extremely thin, famous celebrities, and include testimonials of successful anorexics and before and after pictures. As you can see, there is a huge problem with body image, further encouraged by certain cultures, extremely thin celebrity role models, and pro-anorexia websites. Yet something even graver than poor body image is at stake. Anorexia has severe complications. Anorexia nervosa is a psychological disease that has very serious mental and physical side effects. These include depression, anxiety disorders, obsessive-compulsive disorders, and substance abuse. Physical problems can be abnormally slow heart rate and low blood pressure that can manifest during starvation, a reduction in the work capacity of the heart, gastrointestinal complications, endocrine system complications. Bone density loss occurs rapidly in girls with anorexia, according to the Mayo Clinic staff in the December 2009 article. According to Dr. Dryden Edwards, electrolyte imbalance, anemia, and low white blood count, making it hard for the body to fight infection, occurred. According to the National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders How to Help Guide, infertility, increased risk for miscarriage, low birth weight, or premature birth can all occur during anorexia. Ultimately, death is the #1 consequence of anorexia. According to Dr. Dryden Edwards, anorexia is among psychiatric conditions that have the highest mortality rate. An estimated 6% die from complications that include cardiac arrest, electrolyte imbalances, and suicide. Anorexia is a very serious disease that has many severe complications, including death. Anorexia nervosa has many known sufferers, yet there are many more unreported, and those that have the problem increase daily, making this a near epidemic. Anorexia has a certain stigma about it, with pressures from family, childhood abuse, and celebrity role models. It also has severe complications, including death. How would you like to make a difference in someone's life who suffers from anorexia and other eating disorders? Or even prevent someone from getting an eating disorder? I ask you to please make a donation to the National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders. Donate $1, $5, $20, anything that you can afford. They process donations through Google Pay, so you know that it's secure. Now, I know that many of you with the bad economy and being students cannot afford to donate money. I ask of you to please volunteer at a place that promotes healthy eating, like a school or a hospital. If you don't have the money or the time, please spread the word. Anorexia is a serious disease and can ruin somebody's life or even kill them. Let somebody know that there is help. They can call 1-877-355-7601 to get help or to schedule an appointment with a doctor. This small piece of information can save a life.